Assalamu alaikum. This is lecture 27 of web design and development, and in this lecture the discussion is about the writing of application programming interfaces and about its authentication methods. So here are the lecture contents. In this lecture the REST API will be discussed, and the most of the focus on this lecture will be API authentication. This is very much different from the web authentication as was used as a common authentication for logging into the system. Then there will be some Vue components provided for the authentication mechanism, and finally 404 response, which is often a response generated when you do not find a resource on the server, will be specified. So what is a REST API? One of the most common tasks given to developers is to create an API. Usually it is a JSON or a REST API that allows any third party to interact with your application. REST is referred as representational state transfer, and it is an architectural style for building application programming interfaces. So the REST has few common characteristics. These are structured around resources that can be uniquely identified. For example, if you want to identify a specific category, we say identify the categories or cats. Or if you want to specify a simple one category, such as based on the ID number 15, we can specify the path cats slash 15. Similarly, interaction with resources usually takes place with the HTTP words. For example, if you want to get these, the get verb is used, and if you want to delete it, the delete verb is used. These are stateless. Each request must uniquely authenticate itself. That means there is no connection continuously over the communication channel, and there is no session that maintains the login information, and for each login you have to authenticate your application. These are also cacheable and consistent. Each request must return the same result every time. These return data in the form of JavaScript object notation. So these are some prerequisites of your REST application programming interfaces. So how the JSON returns is the API resource controller excludes the edit and create method. That means in an API you only provide the access to the system with the read permission. The routes for API are specified in root/api.php. Now you consider that previously the routes were specified in root/web.php. The REST APIs is often send and read on non-content information using headers. Once you have a response object, you can send it using the headers. Such as in this example, you have a root to get the dogs, and the response is all dogs with some header information. Similarly, if you have an input request, this is simple to read coming headers. In the simpler case, like the above, you again have the same root, and the function gets the request, and it actually uses a dump method to request headers. You can also use the pagination into the REST APIs, and pagination is the first place where most API need to consider special instructions. To make API route ready for pagination, a paginate method is used, which defines each page should have 20 records. For example, if you want to load the dogs and our API allows the pagination, it should return the response in a way with the paginate, and in each page 20 records are sent. And to simply get these methods or records, we have simple method get dogs which returns the first 20, and if you access each page afterwards, the next 20 records are fetched. This does not only return 20 records, it builds a custom response object that passes a useful information related to pagination along with some paginated data. This information is described here. If you have built such kind of API, your current page is page 1 and the data is provided in the form of JSON object. URL is provided from the page, last page, and the information from previous and next pages is displayed, and per page how much of the records are displayed is described in number of variables, but all the variables are in the JSON format. The next thing is to authenticate your request using the API authentication mechanism. And most API require some kind of authentication to access some kind of data. The most common authentication in the API is called the passport authentication. The authentication system REST API uses is authentication because API is stateless. Session authentication cannot be used. API makes single call to authenticate endpoints referred as handshake and get back a token which can be used for future requests. So these are different types of authentication grants, which means there are several scenarios and types of interaction that can define authentication handshake. Different projects and different kind of end customer necessitate different kind of grants as well. So the passport is a separate package that can be integrated with your application to provide the API authentication. By plugging Passport with your application and setting up the required files to import the passport and install its dependencies, you will have functional authentication server for authentication. You have to modify the authentication configuration and modify the driver from the token to the passport. And after then you can protect the root from unauthorized access, such as this is a one example of a protected root. And if any user want to access the user, the middleware authentication API is applicable from all the roots accessing the information of the users. So there are a number of ways to use the API Passport. Passport exposes the API in your application under OAuth root prefix. The API provides two basic functions. First of all, it provides the authorization of the user with the authorize flow, or you can use authorize or token method. And it allows users to manage their clients and tokens. So it is a simple authentication that you must have used in many applications such as the Facebook integration or login from the Facebook or some any third party application such as some common weather application which get data from variety of sources uh, through API. Passport makes it possible to authenticate users in 4 different ways. The first one is the password grant, the authorization code is second, personal token and synchronizer token are used. The passport grant is very simple but it is rarely used. Sorry, the password grant. And it can be used to authenticate users directly with the API using their username and a password, which is an obsolete matter. For example, if you have a mobile application for your company consuming your API, you can use password grant. The next method is the authorization code grant, which is one of the common method in the API authentication. So if you two applications or parts of the application embed the data from either one or the other, this is the better option. So each consuming application needs to create client in the passport enabled application. An example application will have the following scenario for authentication. For example, a authorization request can be created from a application named Facebook is requesting permission to access your account, and if you authorize it, a authorization code will be sent. The third form is the personal token, and the authorization grant is great for users application and password grant is great for your own application. But when users want to create tokens for themselves to test out the API or use it while developing the application, personal tokens are helpful. Personal access tokens allow developers or users to test the API before even writing any code. So this example shows the creation of personal tokens. So you can use the create token method and use it to access token. The final method is synchronizer token, and this method is for the users who have already authenticated and want your app's JavaScript to be able to access to the API. So every response send the user a cookie attached to it. It is implemented by JSON Web Tokens that contains encoded information about the CSRF token. Now, if the user send any CSRF token along with the header, the API will compare your CSRF token with the cookie, and that will authenticate the users. The Vue components are very much in use these days in the PHP Laravel applications, and the passport comes with the Vue components that allow users to administer clients, authorize clients, and create personal access tokens. To install the Vue components into your application, you need to run the command php artisan vendor publish tag with the passport components, and it will add these components to your application, and the location of these components will be resources slash stats gs slash app.js, and our typical Vue components are specified here. First of all, it requires a bootstrap file, and you have the Vue components of passport entity, which is located at components slash passport slash clients.vue. Similarly, the other Vue component is passport authorized client and passport personal access token. After you have installed the Vue components, you will get three components which can be used anywhere into the application. These are passport client, passport authorized clients, and passport personal access tokens. So in your terminal, you can run following commands to make authentication. First of all, you have to create the uh, passport components by php artisan vendor publish command, and then you have to install the client-side libraries to run the Vue components such as npm and npm run dev, and finally make the authentication. In the next tab, you open the resources slash views slash home.blade PHP file and add the Vue component references just below the div class. The API token authentication is much simpler and is like password authentication, and it is unsecure. Anyone with the token can access. Token can be made complex, such as you can embed some string into the API token. For errors, customizable 404 fallback response can be generated for JSON content type. To return with the 404, update the exception handler. And in the exception handler, you have to provide, you have to change the render object as specified into the exception handler lecture, and you have to only return with the root of api.fallback.404. and you have to specify this root into the root/api.php file, and whenever the fallback root is encountered, a response is generated with the message root not found. That is the end about the API authentication, and if you want to read more about the topic, you can look chapter 13 of the recommended book. Thank you very much.